So welcome back everyone. So in this video we're going to be creating this layout, this simple layout using CSS and HTML. So let's see the way it works. And this is just a simple layout now, and this layout is what most of the sites depends on. So we're going to see how to create this simple layout. So with this simple layout you'll be able to manipulate your way, create even advanced layouts with CSS. Alright, so let's dig into it. So I'll go to my desktop. So what I'll just do is inside this folder now, I'll create another folder, and then so what I'll just do is to create a new folder. I'll open this CSS projects folder I created the last time. Okay, that's my inside my desktop, then CSS for the projects. I'll create a new folder here, so you can see new folder. Create a new folder, then I will name it simple layout. Alright, so and then I will create another folder so that I can copy this to inside. So just name it, and so CSS linking. So I'll copy this index and then this style inside this CSS linking, so that you can have only folder inside this CSS project folder. So I will come to this place. Okay, I will name it now. Okay, very good. So I will open this folder now inside my VS Code. So I'll go to my file again and then click on new folder. So I will come to open this CSS folder, then click on, if you remember, desktop, then CSS for project folder, then simple layout. Select it and then click on select folder. Then it should open now. So a question will be asked if I trust this. Okay. Oh, I think the question. Okay, the question was asked the previous time, so it's not being asked again. So I need two files here. I will need, because right now we're going to be using the external CSS, and also I'll create two files. The first one is going to be, let's use index.html. Then I will create another file. I will create another file named style.html. So that style.css. Alright, so this one is for the HTML, and the second one is for the CSS file. So I'll start by writing my my HTML code structure. So the doc type, okay. So oh my gosh, that's my keyboard doing this. Okay. Alright, so this is my HTML structure. So I have the doc type HTML, the HTML language English, the tag. Then I've explained this one in the previous video, so I won't be going to it again. So now inside the title I'll just type simple layout. Yes. Alright, so inside the body now. So now this is how it's going to work. So let's take a look at it again. So now right now this is the simple layout now. So we have this, the background color is blue. So I know it might not be it's not really blue like blue, so but you know the color, but let's assume this is blue now. So now the project, now this is the project, this is a test here. Now let's assume we have a container. Now this is the big container here, and this is the body. This is the body of the page. The body of the page should be, now it's red, so it's not red, it's blue. So now the text, all the text, if you notice, it is white. So now we have this part is just like a division or a container. Now everything here is inside a container. So the header, the navbar, the section and the footer, they are inside a container. So that means we need to create a container where every of this is going to stay in. Then we have the header. So this header is also inside. Now the header is just like a container. It has a border white. and then the header is centralized. So we have the nav bar so by the side, and then we have the section just like the main page, and then the footer also. So very simple. So remember, we have the body, then the container, which every one of these are being kept in. So I will just write it now. So as I've said earlier, so I'll just come here now, cut my body tag, and then start typing those. So what I just do is copy and paste it. So now you can see the way it is now. So we have the now, okay, now coming back to the to selectors now. So I know I've not explained selector to you, so I want to explain selector now. This simple. So now we have this, as I explained earlier on the browser. So we have the container, we have this div, this is called division, so you should be familiar with this in HTML. Then we have this div which contains, we have the body, then we have the div which contains all this. The first one is the h1, which is the project one simple layout. Then we have the header, we have the nav, and we also have the section and also the footer. So let's see the way it will display on our web browser. So I will save my work, go to file, then click on save, or if you have to auto save. Alright, so I will go to my file explorer, then CSS project, then simple layout, open it, then index.html, so let's see, it's open now. Alright, so let's watch out, why it opens. Alright, alright, it's opening now. So let's see. Okay, now this is how it looks like on the web browser now. Project 1 simple layout, then the header, nav. Now this project is now big. Why? Because we use the h2 elements, which is heading tags. So now you have the header, nav, section, footer. Now remember what we are at targets. So the header, nav, section, footer. So now to actualize this, now we need to use the CSS to customize it. We need to use the CSS to customize it to actualize this. So I will come back to this now. You can see the way it is now. So let's go back to our code. So now for CSS we have the selectors. So now previously in the first video I did the other video, so we made use of the element selector. So we have other selectors. We have the class selector and the ID selector. So now for the class selector, I will come here to use the class selector now. So for the class selector, this is the class selector. So now this class selector is added as an attribute to our HTML element. Now the reason why it is being is like this is so that we can always call this class elements now. This selector now using class instead of using the elements, because there might be times when we want to iterate many elements at the same time, and the elements we want to iterate might not be div. So it might be h1, it can be header, and we want to use the same style for the two. So using the class will allow us to use it, so instead of just using the elements. So now the class selector is it. Now to use this style collector, sorry, the class selector attributes in our style.css file now, unlike the element selector that what we just need to do is to type the name of the elements, just like we are using body. Just type body here. Just type body, then you can now start adding your property and value. So for the class selector we use dots. Now we use dots to reference the style on the class selector in the style in the CSS file. So we use it can be in the lines in internal CSS or the external. So what we use is the dots, that is dot sign. So and then the class selector name. So what the selector name now is container. So I will just come back here, then the dots, then container. just like this, then curly brackets. So now right now I'm referencing this container, this class now with this dots. So if I remove it now, that means it is not referencing anything here. So now what made it to be this now is the dot. Now the dot shows that I'm referencing this class here. So we also have the ID. So now for the ID, so now the difference between the class selector and the ID, now I can use it either with two. So ID is represented with hash, just like this. So it's represented with hash, it's hash, and then the class is represented with dots, while the ID selector is represented with hash tag, just like this. Now the difference between the ID selector and also the class selector is that class can be used to represent multiple elements, while ID can only be used to represent one element in a document. Now when ID comes to your mind, you should know that it's unique. ID is always unique, so your unique identity. So ID is always unique. So that means it can, for example, now if I'm using this div now, if I'm using this ID now, I'm using it only for this div. I can't use it anywhere else. But class allows me to use it, to reuse the styling, the code in multiple CSS, in multiple elements. So I can use this class selector, to manipulate this h1 header, class, section, footer, multiple elements, while the ID just for only one element in a document. So mind you, I can change the name. I can also add another this thing here, selector with another name, which we are going to be doing soon. So let's start altering let's start building this layout now, this layout. And then so now the first thing we need to do is to come in. And so I've explained to you how it's going to work. So let's start by using the body. So let's use the body elements. So now what we are doing now is to call this body now. So the class again, we're going to be using this class selector. So now the body, we are using this body selector now. We are referencing this here now. Go back to my body. Then let's add the color, background color to blue. So background color is going to be blue. So I want you guys to go and study the color code. Go and study the color code, hexagon color code for HTML. So, but right now I'm going to be using the normal color. So blue, I've used blue. If I come here, so if I click on this place now, I can see, click on this place, it will show me. That's one of the benefits of using Visual Studio Code. You can change the color here. So it's going to be showing me RGB color. So if I come here to my browser and then come to this simple layout, I open the time and then refresh. So I should have the background color right now. Okay, there's something wrong. Let's check what's wrong. So that start.hcss. Oh, very good. Can you see that nothing happens when I try to reload? Nothing happens, and I've written some code in the CSS file. Why? Because the link, I've not linked my style.css with the HTML code. So what I'll do right now is to link it. So using the link, so I'll just link it. Remember link, then relationship, style sheets. Then I also have the type. So now the type is going to be, test, then /css. So now the h reference is going to be style.css, just like what I have here now, style.css. So you can see it here. So if I go to my page now and reload the page, then I should see the effects now. Can you see it now? The effect is now being shown here. So the next thing I need to do is to also change the color. So I want to use now the body. Now any code I write for the body is going to affect everything, every content in the body. So every element in the body is going to affect it. So now the background is affecting all the elements. So I can also change the elements also. But right now I want to just change. So I'll just so now for the color, I'm going to make the color white. So that means all the color is white. So let's go back there and then reload. See that all the color of the text color I've changed to white. So now, so that things we need to do is to centralize. We want to centralize all the text. So what you're going to do is to just use align text. So we have align items, align safe. So but for this text we're going to use text align. So text align, we're going to set it to center. Then if I go back there and reload, you see that every text inside the page we go to move to the center. So right now, so that's for this body now. So basically we're going to write this short code for the body tag. Then for the body, so let's write some code now. So coming back to this now, we have this h1. We have done the h1 already. And see the way h1 is here. So we have the h1. The only difference is the color. So then we need the header. So we need the header here. So the header needs to be inside a container. So we are inside a container. So what we're going to do, I'll come back to this my code. Then if you remember here now we have a div there and we also have a class. So I've used this class selector here so to reference this div elements. So I've used the class selector. So I've just come to this style, then dot container. So it's going to be the container where others is going to stay. So dot container. So I start typing my this thing here now. Alright, so I will post it here now. So we have the so we have this. So now what I've written here now is basically the width of this container. So I'm going to see the way it is on the browser now. So now the width of the container, because I told you already. So we have this container. So we have this container just like this one now, where everything, the header, nav, section and the footer, which is the inside the div, is going to be. So if I come here now and reload, you might not really see it. So you can see, you might not see it. So now the container is, the weight of the container is 960 pesos. So margin, I will explain margin to you in a jiffy. So let's set the background color to white so that we can see the way. Let's see the weight. So if I reload now, let's see the, can you see the weight? So now that is the weight for the container. So let's change to something like brown. If I come to brown, here can you see the, so that this is from here to here, that is 960 pesos. So that is the container for the. So now, so the next thing we need to do is to, okay, I want to explain margin for, okay, to you. So now for every HTML element there is a border for it. So that means every element has its own border. That is just like a container where all the text, the content is. So now this header now is like a container. So each one of them, they are like a container, which means they have their own border. So they have their own border. That is both top, left, right. So they have their own border, each element. So every element, don't underestimate any HTML elements. They all have their own border. So now if I come here now, so let's me quickly explain how it works. So now this is how it works. Now this is like the border. So now this blue place, so we have the border here. So let's assume this is HTML elements. Now this is a HTML element, as you can see here now. So let's assume this is division. This is a division now. So for this division now, we have a border. Now this is the border. This is the border. Yeah. So this blue is the border. So now for this border, we have this. So we might have other contents beside it, maybe like paragraph, h1, another one, or another div beside it. But now we are focusing more on this elements. So now for this element now, we have the content inside it. So inside this rectangular blue. So now this one, the content is here. So let's assume we just wrote hello world inside this content. This is where the content is going to be. So now for the content now, so we have a border here which is blue. We also have padding. Now padding is always a space within the border. So that is a space added to the border, as you can see here now. So what I do, I also have margin. I will go to the browser to go and explain that very well. So we also have margin. Margin is a space outside the border. So the space added outside the border. So maybe you have multiple elements now. You want to adjust or you want to create space for each element. So you can add margin. So mostly in CSS, I know in HTML you guys have been working with BR tag. Then, but margin has solved that problem very easy. So you have the margin, you also have the padding. So the difference between the two is that margin is a space outside the element, outside the border, the element's border, then, and padding is the space within the element's border. So within the element's border. So let's see the way it works now on the browser. So now here now inside the context, so let's manipulate this these two now. So what I just do here is I've just come here. So I've just called this h1 and then h1 tag. Let's see the way it works. So I'll just use this h1 element. So h1, then so for the h1, so what I want to do, I want to manipulate this h1 now. Then I'm going to add the border to it. So for the border, so let's assume now the border is 1 pixels. So that's 1 pixels for the border. So let's see. So if I go to my browser now and see it now, let's see. Okay, you can see it's not showing now, it's not displaying. Why? Because we have not added the color. So let's go and add the color to the border. So it's 1 pixels now. So that is the border. So let's add the color to it. So let's say border color. So let's choose black. Okay, let's choose white. So if I go to my browser now and then try to view it now, so let's see. You can see that nothing happens now. So why? Because we've not specified the style of our border. So this is okay. Let's see what the style is now. So it's going to be border style. So the style is now, it is going to be solid. Consider if you want solid for the style, so that is the body on the style. Okay, we're going to see the way to the border line. Okay, the style is basically the border line. So let's see. If you want solid dash dotted double, so let's assume, let's choose solid now. See the way it looks like. So let's see. Can you see the way the solid is now? So this is for the solid. You can see that it's just white. Then for the dash, if I choose dash now, this is dash. So let's see the way it is. You can see the way dash is. So now if I choose dotted, so then this is dotted. You can see the way dotted is. So we have many. So there's double. So this is double. Alright, so for this now we are going to be using solid. So let's just focus on, okay, now this is solid now. Can you see the way solid is now? So So right now we have actually achieved. So now if you can see here, we have done the one for the header. So if I come back to this now, so let's see, to confirm that you have done the one for the header, if I come here and then remove this background. So by the way, I need to teach you something. So now if you remember in HTML, there is always a comment. I told you guys about the comments aspect. Now what comments does is to add the comments. When you're adding a comment, just to reference your code. So when you come back to your code and you want to come and check what you have done, you'll be able to, this is what I did here. So comment helps a lot when you're writing a code as a programmer. So what I'm just going to do here is to add the comments here. I'll add the comments. So now the comments for CSS is written as, then you write a slash, then asterisk. So if I write an asterisk, now I can see everything as it's no longer showing, displaying very well the way it was before. Then I need to close the asterisk. It's a slash, asterisk and slash. Then I've closed. Now mind you, anything you put inside this comment, now this is comment elements now. So anything I put here now will not be displayed. If I write this is a comment now, so it's not going to affect any of my code. Now just a comment, just to reference what. Okay, let's assume now I want to comment this background color now. So if you could remember here now, you have the background color as brown. So if I comment the background color now, see, let's see it's going to take effect. Let's see now. Let's see it's going to be like that. Can you see? So what has happened is that the CSS or the browser have seen it as, okay, this is a comment. It does not need to display. It's just a comment, just like a comment. So it's not going to be displayed on the browser. So let's work with padding. Okay, let's work with padding and also margin. As I've explained to you, padding is space within the HTML elements, while the space outside the HTML element is the margin. So let's use padding now. So let's say padding. So we have padding top. So we have padding top, padding right, padding left, and padding bottom. So let's assume now for the padding top, I want to make it like about 30 pieces. So 30 pieces now. Let's see what the width is. Can you see that there's a space? There's a space inside. There's a space on the top that is inside the HTML, the HTML elements. That is H1. Not the H1, and there's a space within. So if I add another one to padding, if I add padding bottom, let's see. So this is padding bottom. Refresh now, you can see padding bottom. So if I go back there and I add left, right, the same thing applies there. So left. So you see, you can see there's a space by the left, but it's not visible. Why? Because there's a space already there. So if I want more space, I can increase it. Okay, so now let's basically work with that. So I think you can do that. So if you set it to 0, so basically it's always on 0. So 0 is just the normal way. Automatically you can see the width is on 0, just the normal way. So that means you don't want, or you set it to none. So 0 now is serving as none. So now what I want, let's add 10 pieces there. Just 10 pieces for the padding. So now let's see the way. Let's now see the way the margin works. So I will uncomment this one, the background color for the container. So let's go and view it now. So can you see the container now? You have the container brown. So let's now use the margin now. Remember I told you that the margin is displayed outside the HTML element. So I'll just add the margin. Then let's assume margin top. So margin top. So 30 pieces, not 0, 30 pieces. So I'll come here. So if you observe, okay, it's not really visible, so I'll make it visible now. Now it's not visible. Why? Because now let me just tell you this why it's not visible. Because the container we have here now, alright, now it's not visible. So now what you need to do now, I notice that this project simple layout should just be the heading. It shouldn't have this. So I just come to this layer. Can you see what is here? So I'll just come back here. So we don't need this border and everything. We don't need it for this project simple layout. We only need it for the header, nav, section and footer. So I'll just come to this place now. Then I'll just go to my, then I'll change this h1 to header, because we want it for the header. If I refresh now, can you see now we now have it for the header. So why for the, so let's go and affect the, so now so now for the margin top, now let's just remove the margin top. Let's see the way it is now. Can you see that there's no space, there's no alteration inside this header elements, inside the border. So but outside the border now, let's see when I add the margin top now, let's see, let me add about 100 pixels so that can be more visible. So you can see that the space is so much. So if I go back there now and then add margin top, margin bottom, so margin bottom, let's say 100 pixels also. So if I go back there now and then refresh my page, you can see that it's as if it's adjusted, sent everything downward and then send the one upward. So that's how it works. That's how the margin and the padding works. Remember once again, okay, if I add left and right now, let's see the left and right. So I've changed this one to the left. So now this one is going to be left and this one is going to be right. So let's see the way it is. So right. So can you see what happens now? There's a space here and there's also a space here. So what it has done is to send them in. So we created a space outside this box, outside this line, the border. So that is just for the padding and then the margin. So let's start working on the let's start doing what we have here now. So now right now, so that means there is a padding here now. Can you see there's a margin here and there's also a padding. So we are going to increase the padding and then the margin is going to be, so the margin bottom, and then we adjust the margin, so set the margin to 10 and also the padding to be 20. So we are going to have 10 for the, so yeah. So if I come here now, so I need to change this one now. So instead of writing padding top, padding bottom, padding left, so there's something you can also do. It's just to add padding. Type padding here. So padding. Now this padding now, if I type padding here, so this padding will automatically set, now set this padding now to 20. It automatically sends the padding top, padding right, padding bottom and the padding left. Set everything to 20 pixels. Because I'm not specifically like I'm not being specific now, like selecting it in one after the other. So now this is just to save your code. So instead of having bug much code, just type 20. It seems we're having the same padding for all the sides. So that is top, bottom, right, left. So we're having the same padding for the, so just set it as 20 pixels. So if I go back there now, let's see, can you see now there's a space just like that. So I'll just come back here now and then for the margin too, I'll set the margin to 10. So 10 pieces, I said it the right time, I'm going to set it to 10 pieces. So if I go out here, so can you see there's a space now here. So that's what the next thing. So now the next one we want to do is for this too, the nav bar and then the section. Okay, very good. So if you notice something too, that we have this padding, the the border is called is like a curve here. So unlike ours, they're just, you know. So this is what we're going to do. Those are the border radius. So border radius. Now border radius is just to make the border not to be, you know, rectangle, like fully rectangle. Is just to call the curve it, so to shape it, to reshape the rectangle. So let's see the way it works now. So if I set this border radius to 50% now, let's see what happens. 50%. So I set to 50%. Now let's see what happens next. You can see it with the way it works. It is now, it's like a circle, big. And I also set the width. Let's see, let's assume I set the width of the, maybe I want to draw a circle now. I can draw a circle with that border now, with this border radius. Just set the height and the width. So the height to 50 and then the width to 50 pixels. So let's see what will happen. Okay, let's see. So that I'll be having circle. Can you see what I have here? I have circle already. So that is with the border radius. I can draw, I can reshape my elements. I can reshape it. So but for now we are not planning to reshape it. What just want is just small. So yeah, I'll change this one to 10 pieces. So you can see the way it is now. So it seems okay. You can see, so I can decrease it to maybe like 5 pieces. So you can see the way it is now. So next thing, so we also have for selectors now. We also have, I've explained to you element selector, I've explained to you class selector and also ID selector. So we also have multi-select selector, that is I can select multiple elements. I can select body at the same time, select header, h1, and select all the elements together. Now this is what I'm talking about. So right now we have h1, header, nav, section, and footer. So what I want to do, I want to select these three, nav, section, and footer together. So now what separates them? So let's just select them. Nav. Now I've just used comma, this comma sign now to separate them. That means I'm selecting multiple elements. So we have nav. What do we have again? We have nav, we have section and footer. So section and also footer, then my curly brackets. So I've selected this three now. So that means any change I make is going to be sent, is going to take effect on these three. So now what I want to add, I will add now. For the three now, we add a float. I'm going to explain what float is. So now I'm going to add the float to the left. Now what float does is to bring the elements to the left. So let's see what happens now. Can see what happens. It has brought nav bar, section, footer. It's brought them together to the left. So this is now actually what we fully want. So now let me just. So what I want is, so now what I just do in order to save time, I'll just copy this code because I also want the same code for this. So I just want all this code. So what I just do is to copy this code here, the same code. So what I've done right now is to copy the same code for the three. That is the h1, the nav bar, section, and also the okay. So now what I now do is to come back here to load. You can see what we have here now. So you now have the nav, section, footer here. Can you see everything comes to the center, and also so if you notice, it seems the margin is too big, unlike this one that is so small. So what I've just do here is to come back to this place. Since they're all having the same margin, so I've just changed the margin to maybe like 5 pesos. So margin is going to be 5 pesos. I see 5 pesos. So this is better now. So it's better now. So next thing we need to do is to make to set the height. So if you notice here we have this one is, so we have the nav bar, we have the section, you know, different size, different width. So we need to set the width and also the height. Alright, so now the next we need to do now is so let's see on the browser. So we have this already, so we've done this already. So next thing we need to do is to break this nav bar to be big, you know, long like this. So to achieve that, we come here. So we need to do some mathematical calculations here, but before then let's have the nav bar, and also let's make them big first. So the nav bar and the section, they are both the same height, so we're going to set the, so I'll just come here, then nav bar, then comma, then section. So I'm using multiple selection, so then the curly brackets, then we are going to set the padding. We are not going to use height, we're going to set the padding top, and then set it to 200 pesos. So let's go and see the way it looks like now. So can you see the way it is? That's for the padding top. You can see what happens now. So we go back there, then set the padding bottom, so I'll set it to 200 pesos also. And you see the weight is now. So the next thing I need to do is now to set the weight. So now, because they both have different weights, and see the way they both have different weights here, so I need to set the weight, you know, separately. So what I just do is come back here. So I just call them one after the other. So for the nav I'm going to set the weight to okay. Now let's do some calculations here. So remember we had for this is the container here. See the container. So if I come back here now, alright, so if I come back here now, so this is the container. Where is the container? Yeah, this is the container. The container is 960 pesos. So I will want to share the container with section and nav by the nav. So that means we need to divide it into two. And as we have here now, we have the section bigger than the nav bar. So that means we have a bigger section and then the smaller nav. So we need to divide them into two. So since we have 960, so let's give this nav 200 pesos, and then this section the middle one. So and also remember we have added the margin left and also margin right. So that means it will be 960 altogether again. So let's give the nav 200 and then the section about so that will be 960 minus 200. So let's give like 800 or 840. Let's see 640 rather. So the nav, let's give the nav 200 pesos. So let's see the way it's going to be like now. Can you see the way it is now? So we need to do so let's remove the background for the container. I will remove the background for the container. I'll just comment it. So I've added a comment and I can see the comments, so it's not going to be displaying again. So while for the section, I'll just copy and paste this one. So for the section, I'm going to add section. So for the width, I'm going to be adding like let's assume 860. So let me go back there. Oh sorry, not 860, so to be 200 minus 9. So that was 960. So so that will be 600. So let's give it 640. Yes, 640, since we had 5 pieces for the margin left. So let's yes, so let's assume they're taking 555. So let's see now. Can you see the way it is now? So it's still not occupying the whole space here. That's not what we want. So let's give it 650. Let's see. Okay, so I think I'm going to give it everything. So 660. So that is 200 plus 660. So we have, oh, it's too big. So 655. Okay, very good. I think it's now, it has equalized now. Now the same size now. So now it means the footer now. So we need to create now for the footer. Now we just need, so footer, call it here. So the width is just going to be the same thing with the container, so that it can occupy the whole, footer here. So just like the header. So I just come in footer, then set the width to 960. Jesus. Alright, so I will refresh now. Can you see what we have here? We have 960 and it's very big, it's very long, so that means it's not going to be 960. So let's just add these two together. So this one is 200 plus, that is 855. So let's assume this is going to be 860 also. Oh, 860 is very small, it's very small. So let's give it 900 and see 900 and see what it's going to be like. 900 is too small. 920. Okay, 920 is too small, it's too much. So 910. Okay, I think 910 is too much also. So let's give it 905. Okay, very good. So it matches now. So it's 905. So right now we have successfully built a simple layout using HTML and CSS. So remember what you have learned in this video. We've learned about some CSS properties, and you see we have learned how to add, use CSS, how to link it, how to also use border, margin, floats. So mind you, we also have floats right and left. Can you already explain that? But in the project videos coming, I'm going to be explaining more on that. So now we have the border radius, explain that also, the padding, width, height, multiple selector, class selector, identification selector. So those are what we used in this video. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Alright, bye for now. So by the way, the video is so lengthy, so in the next videos I'm not going to make it lengthy like this. Alright, so bye for now everyone.